Hello everyone and welcome to another video. You join me today in a slightly different setting. So it's now 4:37 AM. We're about to set off to Silverstone circuit for our very first track day. So without further ado, I wish us a good journey. Bike's back there, strapped up, all good to go. Remove the mirrors, remove the number plate. Got my tracksuit in the back, got everything I need. So, I don't even know if you could see the bike there, but let's get going, shall we?
There's his glass. Hang on, so he's got him. Medic's got your glasses, okay.
Right, 1, 2, 3. That was fun.
So it's safe to say that the day did not quite go according to plan. I went out, I had fun, but on my first session, on like the 8th lap or something, and that's counting the sighting laps, I crashed. That's a simple way of saying it. Why did I crash? Well, I was going too fast into that corner and I was accelerating as well, and that basically caused me to lose the front. That's what I've been told, and that's what I feel like happened. So I wasn't particularly hurt. I mean, a few bruises here and there, but other than that, I was quite alright. The day has been going not amazing up until that point, because believe it or not, that was the second time that bike crashed that day. Because while on the way there, I encountered this massive pothole, and I do mean very deep and very wide, in the middle of a bend, and there's no way I could have avoided it. And basically it caused the trailer that the bike was on to tip over. It actually tipped over the trailer, and obviously the bike with it, and obviously that resulted in the bike sliding face first along the ground, which broke the front fairing or cowl, if you want to call it that, which meant I was out on track without the... Oh, that corner up there is amazing. I want to hang back a little bit because I want to do it properly. So that basically meant that I went on track without a windscreen. Now that had nothing to do with the crash, okay? It's just the whole... My day wasn't going amazing at that point. I'm sure you're curious to see what the bike looked like after the crash. Like immediately after. I didn't take one because I didn't think to do it, because I was pretty upset and there were a million things going through my mind at the time. But the damage wasn't so bad, and I did take a picture like immediately after getting home, and that was pretty much after me getting home without touching the bike at all. So after the crash, I got checked out by the paramedics. I went in an ambulance. I'd never been in an ambulance before, so that was a new experience. That was quite fun. And yeah, that was I mean, I'd never crashed that badly before either, so can I just let me just be a bit cheeky here. Yeah, all in all, as far as track day experiences go, that was not the best, especially for a first one. And I'm fully prepared to admit that was entirely my fault, and if anything, I'm just upset at the fact that I ruined the session for everyone else, because obviously they red flagged it right after my crash. So, but I think they got an extra long session afterwards, so that's not too bad. But yeah, I did apologise to several people. Loads of people came up to check on me to see if I was alright. Loads of people offered to help me with the bike to get me back on track. And actually, believe it or not, the only reason why I didn't go back on track is because I was having trouble with my exhaust. It was rubbing up against the swing arm, and basically it was limiting the movement from the suspension on the rear, and there's no way, shape or form that they could have allowed me back on track safely. Otherwise I probably would have. In fact, no, I definitely would have, because I wanted to. I even asked them if I could go back. I don't know what I was expecting to do. Maybe I was expecting to redeem myself or something. So my GoPro as well, it got smashed. It's functioning, because obviously I'm recording this with the GoPro, but the rear screen, the touch screen at the back, got completely destroyed. It still works, amazingly enough. To sum up, I'm going to, state the reasons why I crashed. Now, since that was my first track day, I was quite happy to be put in the novice group, as you would expect. But I got overconfident, because after the sighting laps and when the actual proper session started, I
started going as fast as I could without stepping out of my comfort zone. So I went as fast as I was comfortably prepared to go, basically. And that was a lot faster than everyone else. And I was wondering, oh, maybe I'm just a little bit, you know, more confident on my tyres and on my skills, or lack thereof, really, than these other people here. And you know, I was on a cheap bike and everyone else was on slightly more expensive bikes. They had £40,000 Panigales out there in the novice group, and I have no idea why. People with tyre warmers, people brought entire garages as well. It was very satisfying to pull out of a bend and power onto a straight faster than a Panigale, even though he was probably not pushing it, but it was still quite satisfying. And since I've started going a lot faster than everyone else, I started getting cocky, started braking later into the turns, started carrying more speed through them, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to my lean angle and my throttle pickup. You know, you come into a corner, off the throttle, you go around it, off the throttle, and then about halfway through you pick up the throttle slowly and gradually, and then you power out of it. I was doing that to some extent, but at some point I started making mistakes. Again, overconfidence. And as I was coming onto the last corner of the Silverstone International circuit, that was quite a fast one as well, I picked up the throttle a little bit too soon and a little bit too harshly, and it caused me to lose the front and slide out into the gravel, and that's basically all she wrote. So it was a bit of a crash. I was a bit dazed. I actually stayed curled on the floor for a few minutes because I was just trying to process everything that had just happened. I've talked to people since and they've asked me, were you scared when it happened? And I said, no, I wasn't. I was more surprised and obviously understandably upset, because first session, first track day ever, and I crashed. But you know what they say, every situation, no matter how bad it is, does have a silver lining. And there were a few good things that came out of this. Well, I learned how to work on my bike a little bit better. I had never taken a bike apart as far as I did that Gixxer in the last couple of days. So that was an interesting experience, and it wasn't as daunting a task as I thought it was going to be, which is always good. The few laps that I actually managed to do on track did teach me a few things about braking and body positioning, and for the very first time ever I actually managed to get my knee down, and you can actually see it on the footage. I'm coming up to a corner and you can just see the little white flakes scraping off of my slider, so that was really cool. It was a really cool experience for the very first time ever touching my knee on the ground. It also taught me that I need to take things easy. I can't just rush into it at 9 in the morning when it's 4 degrees outside and expect to be completely fine afterwards, because I'd never really pushed a bike to that sort of limit before. I have never been that quick, and it was an amazing experience. It was very exhilarating. It was quite tiresome as well. I was absolutely exhausted at the end of the day. I actually didn't sleep much the night leading up to it, because I woke up really early, a lot earlier than I should have, and then I just couldn't get back to sleep before the track day, before I had to leave for the track day. But overall, my experience at Silverstone was a very positive one. The workers there and the marshals, the paramedics, they were all super nice, super helpful. The other people that were there, like, from when I first arrived, I was getting my bike off the trailer, and these guys just walked up and just offered to give me a hand because they saw I was having some trouble. And they just gave me a hand, and they gave me tips throughout the day, and it was good. Obviously, I should have listened a lot more intently, otherwise I wouldn't have crashed. But you live and you learn, and that's what these things are all about. It was going to happen sooner or later. That was the first proper big motorcycle crash I've ever had, I'm happy to say. And I'm hoping it's my last one. It probably won't be, but I'm hoping it is. So I think that's all I had to say, really, to defend myself, I guess you could say. So I'll cut to the aftermath footage that I recorded, and I'll see you guys next time.
So I was just taking the GSXR apart after the crash, you know, as you do. I've already sorted the exhaust, that was bent, that's sorted. The tail section's mostly sorted now. Now I'm just having a look at the throttle here. So I removed this intake, which is the right intake, which survived. And right underneath here, there's a bird. Little dead bird. I have no idea how long that's been there. It might have been there before I even got the bike. Wow. That's something. Full of surprises. If you're wondering, the bike is rideable at the moment, but you know, I'm waiting for some parts. I have ordered a new front fairing bracket, and I've got a new cowl upstairs. Well, not a new one, an older one, which was broken, which I fixed, and that's going on when I get the bracket. Side panels, you know, they're all scuffed and scratched. Same with the tank and the tail as well, actually. The tail's actually on both sides. Got some there, and got some here as well, as you can see. Yeah, bike went through quite a bit. Sorted the front brakes as well, they were grabbing a bit, so I took them apart, gave them a good clean. That's sorted as well. Might do the chain, then again I might not, because I'm not going to change the chain or anything. It's just filthy, because turns out gravel traps are actually not very friendly to chains. Yeah, I'm sure there's still gravel in there. I'm going to have to take the front sprocket cover off and have a look at that, you know, make sure there's no little stones in there. Don't want to break anything else. And you know, as it stands, if I wanted to do another track day today on this bike, I could. I would just have to get rid of the clocks up there and probably some of the wiring, but perfectly rideable as it is right now, which is good. Also going to be getting a new tail light. This light functions perfectly, but the indicators were completely destroyed in the crash, so I'm getting an integrated tail light LED thing, so that's going to be good. The front headlight was fine, although it ended up separated from the bike. I'm a little bit upset that I wasn't able to get any footage. You can see there, just in there, see in there, there's little stones still, little bits of gravel right in there. Yeah, a little bit upsetting, but you know, could have been worse. I could have been hurt. I wasn't, luckily, and the bike could have been a lot more damaged than it actually was. No leaks whatsoever. I even rode it around afterwards, so that's mostly the damage report. Fairings all scratched up, a few cracks here and there. You can see this crack in the tail section. I took the whole tail section apart as well because I had to get rid of the gravel, and this had actually gone in, and I thought that the subframe was bent, but it wasn't. It was just that thing was like pushing it and making it crooked, so that was a bit of a relief. The exhaust has got a massive dent here, and it was here, and I think you can see along the edge of the tyre here, this line, this slightly darker line, that's when the exhaust like pushed up against it and the wheel was spinning, and it just took a bit of a chunk out of the edge here, which is, it's not too bad. It didn't ruin the tyre or anything. It's still good. These tyres have what? Let's have a look. 28.8 miles, so not even 30 miles these tyres have got. So they're essentially still pretty brand new. All in all, as far as crashes go, that was definitely my worst, but it's definitely not as bad as it could have been. I don't think this bike's ever going to look as pretty as it did once. It might. I might get a new set of fairings. I've got a new tank, like I said, incoming, and that's pretty almost perfect. I say almost because it does have a dent in it, but I got it at a pretty good price. and yeah, no rust, no nothing. So that should be arriving in the next few days. All good. The frame, unless I strip it down to the frame and get it powder coated, that's never going to go away. All these scratches here, yeah, that's never going to go. This big one here. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to include this in the Silverstone track day video, but I might. And okay, so the crash was 3 days ago? No, 2 days ago actually. The track day and the crash were 2 days ago. And I've already booked my next one. Also in Silverstone, it's going to be the national circuit. So very excited for that one. It's going to be on the 9th of May, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's going to be 9th of May, I'm pretty sure. So, pretty excited for that one. And hopefully it'll go a lot better than the first one did. I'll definitely be taking it a lot easier, because going way too fast, way too quickly, way too soon, when it was way too cold, that's what caused me to crash. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that dead bird there, and yeah, I'm going to carry on having a look over at the bike. So, it's been Joe's Bike Life, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!